Straight like that. Straight like that.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Circuit of the Americas. Round 11 of Season 2 here at AOR rFactor. How you doing, everyone? This is Curtis Kenyon bringing you all the action, or as much as I can. I'm a little bit under the weather. Qualifying has gone underway. About 9 minutes or so left in qualifying 1, trying to figure out who will get into qualifying 2. Top 10 goes in, of course. Been watching the guys try to figure out this track. Of course, Coda being kind of its own animal. There was a couple of track errors that were found late last night by a few drivers, so they were changed. The track was changed around just a little bit, but the grip itself shouldn't have changed much. A couple of bumps here and there that needed to be ironed out. Definitely a demanding track, requires a great setup and a lot of patience to get around. One of my favorite tracks to drive, personally. I used to love this track in my endurance days, but some of the drivers have been saying that not quite figured this one out. Of course, last season, famously, I believe it was Scott Davison who did channel his inner Elon Musk and was literally flung hundreds of feet in the air. We don't know why. Actually, we did figure out why. It was a track error, of course. But yes, different version of the track this time out, and so some adjustments were made to make sure that everything is competitive. A slight change to the rules, as we are testing the 101.5% sector time rule. That is for cuts during the race. If you cut the track, it's based off of time as opposed to actual track limit type setup. Now that's within the game. It's something that's been floated around a little bit throughout various leagues and, you know, different places. And it seems to work for other leagues. We have done it at other tracks just to test it out. This one will be the true test, as it is very easy to cut a corner here. So we shall see the improvement of 101.5% is tough to get, considering that basically every one of these drivers have set quite a fast time, and so it's based off of that. Of course, if a lap becomes invalidated and it was completely valid as far as track cuts go, well, then of course that is part of the test. We'll have to see what happens if someone comes out of nowhere with an extremely fast time. Then that could result in something odd happening, but I don't think that's going to happen based off of all the track times that we have seen so far. Just under, well, just about 5.5 minutes left. And as I bring up my live timing, Craig Baxter is on top of the 132.465, with Sergi Jerez bringing up right on his gearbox, actually, a 132.790. Sam Carpenter, good run right now. Drops to fourth, actually, as Scott Davison slots into third with a 133.106. Have a look at Sam. I believe he is just starting a flying lap. Of course, the top 10 do advance. Look like Danov off track there. Taking a look around to make sure everything is working okay. I did have a couple of technical difficulties, such as that not popping up for some reason. That'll work. There we go. There's the tower. Right. That's all sorted. Very good. Just wanted to bring some cinematic views. You know, beautiful Coda track. Checking in on chat. Hello, everyone. The Alfie squad is back. Very good. Good to see you guys. I've also been testing some light production things in the background, such as that little feature there where the scoring tower does come up by itself. Obviously, my automation didn't work. Taking a look at Danov Brantham, who is sitting fifth, coming across the line right now. I believe that will start his flying lap. Baxter is on the track. Let's see where he's at. Such a tight corner right there. Should be seeing some decent amount of racing right there as he makes his way through what I like to call the sweepers. Of course, as I realize that we might not be looking at live. We are looking at live. Give me just a second, guys. I need to check something. Baxter now making his way through his flying lap. Let's go on board and have a look. Okay, Scott Davison. Yeah, and you can see how through the first sector, the S is very easy to cut the track, and that's where the timing comes in. You do have a little bit of room to kind of make your way through that sector with a couple of cuts, but if you do go too fast, you will be penalized. 327 kilometers an hour, binder all the way down to, it looked like 90. And a very tricky Sector 3 begins. You do have to nail your line in order to be very quick here. Right here, you just slightly lift and use the back of the car to bring the car around those corners and then control using the steering wheel. And then you have to be very careful getting on the gas here down the front stretch. See, Craig had to flick it just a little bit to the right. He's going to back off here. A 132.465, not bad. And like I said, guys, I am feeling just a touch under the weather, so I'm bringing as much action as I can to you. Qualifying for Q1, I should say, starting to wind down. Take a look at Sergi. Sergi fashion, not winding the car up too crazy. A little bit brutal on the downshifts, but to be expected. Just realized the car is very, very loud when we're on board. Good God. Slowing down too much there. At least in my opinion. Somebody off the track. Yeah, he's also lifting coming through these sweepers. Nice line through there. Cuts it well. Doesn't lose a lot of speed. Rounded out that apex. I was kind of expecting a late apex there from Sergi, but he did not. I believe that will be an improvement. Yes, it is. A 132.336, nabbing the pole from Baxter. Right at the end, too, of Q1. There are still some cars on the track. I believe Jukapeka just coming around to finish his lap, where he ends up sitting 13th. He'll finish out, and that'll take us into Q2 here momentarily. Guys, you're watching AOR Circuit of the Americas. This is round 11 here of the RF2 Championship. We'll be right back to bring you Q2. Stay tuned. welcome in to Q2. Of course, Sergi on top of the leaderboard for right now, as only 7 minutes or so. I have to apologize. We did miss the first couple of minutes. I was trying to clear my throat. There's a real possibility I might have to stop talking. So while we wait for the drivers to make their way around for their first flying laps, let's take a look at the championship standings. We'll start with the team championships because those are extremely interesting right now. Defiance, even with all the wins that Craig has had, is now in second place, 207 points, 4 points behind Saber. It's the first time that we have seen Defiance off of the top of the leaderboard, not only all season, but all of last season as well. Pretty interesting. Saber have been putting in quite the drives to take that over. And Sir G Esports, 20 points behind second place. Thrive Vulcan doing pretty good as well, sitting in fourth, with Zesty Racing sitting in fifth at the moment. As far as the Drivers' Championships, Craig Baxter still leading the way after taking second place at the last race. Sergi Heraz sitting in second place, slowly catching, but might run out of time if something drastic doesn't happen, and sitting 19 points behind him. Closest competitor after Sergi is Philip Kraus, who has not raced the last couple of races, will not be racing today, and if I'm not mistaken, he is out for the season. I believe there has been some issues there. I believe it's a timing issue for now. The American, unfortunately, not able to participate, or at least not able to confirm his participation throughout the rest of the season, so he's still sitting in third. But he will be overtaken today probably by Sam Carpenter, who is sitting fourth. Took a podium last 2 races, actually. He's only 1 point behind, so he'll be taking third place at this race, pretty sure. He just has to finish in the points, and he's there. Behind him is Brandon O'Henlin. People are cycling in and out of the garage. Brandon O'Henlin sitting in fifth, 4 points behind Sam Carpenter, so it's getting pretty heated there for the podium. Karen Chadwick sitting in sixth. Matthew Klipp sitting in seventh. It did not race last race. Lalu in ninth, as well as Noah Chilla also did not participate last race, and that's kind of the story so far. Daniel Brantham sitting in 10th, though, has participated in all but 1 race, so he should be moving up the order here pretty soon as everybody gets very, very close right there. Basically, from there on out, finishing some points, you're going to move up. Is essentially how that's going to work. Qualifying winding down right now. Sergi Raz sitting in second place, a 132.26, with Craig Baxter sitting on top with a 132.23. Very, very close there. That could be overtaken at any point. Scott Davison sitting third. Nicely done by him, a 132.69, with Noah Chilla in fourth. Very good. He's not had the best season so far, as he... No, he doesn't. Mac Shepard actually slots in at fifth. The Nick Brackey, Daniel Brantham, Sam Carpenter yet to post a time. Jonathan Watts makes his way into Q2 with Evan Rice sitting in 10th. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Speaking of Carpenter, your 4th place sitter in the championships, making his way around the track right now. Sitting in 8th. Just needs to post a time, and we'll see where he lands. It's through Sector 1 with a 19.8. Like I mentioned, guys, I am feeling very much not well. But Carpenter making his way around the track. Finishes off his lap. Let's see what he posts. Huh. For some reason. Live timing isn't picking him up. Must have an invalidated lap or something, because that doesn't make sense. Very odd. So qualifying is finishing off. Your starting order will be Craig Baxter, Sergi Jerez, Scott Davison. Actually, no, they're still on the track. Sergi's still out there, as well as Baxter. Got the Ultra Softs. Tire options for today are Soft, Super, and Ultra. Sergi opening up the DRS to make his way down the front stretch. Let's see where he ends up. On top of the leaderboard. Times are coming in a 132.168. Baxter still on the track. We'll see where he ends up. Oh, and he takes it. A 131.88. Well, all right then. Looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting race as we move into the race itself. I think I'll be able to commentate on the start of the race, but I might have to just kind of go into cinematic mode. I want to bring you guys as much of the action as I can. I don't usually mind doing commentary when I'm ill, but this is pretty brutal, honestly. Just waiting for drivers to get set up for warm-up. We'll take a closer look at the point standings here in just a minute. They begin to set the grid for round 11 here at Circuit of the Americas. Coda, honestly, one of those divisive tracks. There's a lot of people who love it, but there are a definite amount of people who don't like it at all. Some people say that it's a bit of a parade lap, if you will, especially through Sector 1. I happen to disagree with proper racing strategy as well as a little bit of courtesy. I've seen some very close racing here, at least in the simulation world. Now, if people want to try to risk that real life, that's a different story. Maybe for Formula One in its current state, might be a bit of a parade considering all the dirty air and all that stuff. Aerodynamics are just so important. With this particular mod, though, Seems as though the improvements to the way the air moves over and under the car have helped with the close racing. We've seen some very exciting races this season, and I expect Coda to be just the same. Just a matter of who is daring enough. And I apologize if I am going silent quite a bit. That's actually me muting my microphone and hacking a lung. So I apologize. But like I said, we might have to just turn off the microphone and bring you as much action as possible. Maybe do some commentary through the through the comments section. That could be interesting. So as drivers get underway here for warm-up, we're taking a look at Nick Brackey. He's actually had, well, he's had a bit of a rough season, to be honest with you. He hasn't started a lot of races. He's only makes his way onto the track when he can make it. And I know he's had some scheduling issues as well. He's sitting 13th. He has scored points. 14 points so far. 6 races started this season. And has finished in the points in 4 of them. So not too bad, or just actually very close pretty much all the way through. All he needs to do is have a good run. He might be able to advance up the order. We got to about the top 10. And the only racer who has started all races and is still outside of the top 10 is Mac Shepard, who is sitting 11th right now in the standings. A DNF and a couple of races where he's out of the points kind of put him there. But he's only 5 points out from Dano of Brantholm, who is sitting 10th, of course. But he'll be looking to have a decent run through. The regulars of the field, other than the first 3 races, would have to be Liam Mangan, who has not had a fantastic season, to be fair. And honestly, those are his words too. Still trying to get to grips with the car. He is showing some speed. Did get a 10th last time out. Turkey was good to him. But, yes, he does want to improve. I know he's been, he gives himself a hard time. That means he's just having fun, which is always a good thing. Max Lister, 16th place, actually. He is technically one of the regulars. He didn't start one of the races, and he only finished, his highest finish so far has been 8th. So we'll have to see how he does. Try to keep an eye on him. But guys in the chat, looks like you guys want to keep track of Alfie. We can do that as much as we can. There's Alfie right there. I believe he is starting towards the back of the field. There were a couple of back of grids, but I don't know why. But he's smoking like crazy right there. That could be a bit of a spectator error. Track is very tough to get a setup on. I think a lot of people would know that. That's how I see a lot of racers in the chat. The problem, of course, is trying to find that balance between that top speed along the backstretch and the decent amount of grip through the rest of the track. And honestly, the straightaways are just so long here that you have to put that into consideration. I guess, yeah, I guess you're right. The chat is all Alfie. You can see everybody practicing their pit stops. But right now, as far as the point standings goes, it's really all the way at the top. Sergio Ress is trying to make a run for the lead, and it really just kind of sits in the hands of Craig Baxter. I don't know if Baxter wins the rest of the races, which is only 4. I don't think Sergi can catch him. It'll be close, though. We'll have to see how things go. Of course, got to deal with everything that happens in a race, which is a whole lot of stuff. Of course, we should also mention that rules state that you have to start the race on the tire compound that you got your fastest qualifying on. So, strategy could be pretty interesting here. I do expect a 2-stop strategy, just because this track is very tough on the tires. We have 39 laps to complete. And as demanding as this track is on tires, I would expect those Ultra Softs to only go maybe 5 to 7. And then from there on out, it's free reign. Drivers were pretty hush-hush this evening before the festivities got underway as to what their tire strategy was going to be. That moment you're in an F1 league and watching a F1 league. 2 different games. Yeah, no kidding, huh? And again, I apologize. This is not good. So I'm going to kind of leave it up to you guys, chat. Let's try to have a little bit of fun with this. Obviously, we see a lot of Alfie in the chat. Of course, we want to see the best race that we can put on. The problem is that I am the only commentator available for this, so it will be a little bit tough for me to talk and run everything. And I want to bring you guys as much content as I can. So if you guys have any suggestions in the chat, I will probably have to turn the mic off. It literally feels like fire coming out of my throat right now. It's not good, honestly. Just kind of waiting for warm-up to finish off. Everybody will kind of make sure they understand how their setups work. It's a nice touch, that helicopter flying through the background there. Let's hope nobody goes flying again and hits said helicopter. That would be, well, that would just be tragic. Everybody doing donuts at the end of warm-up. So as the race gets underway here very shortly, I want to thank you all for stopping on by. It's been fantastic. Christopher, good luck in your race. I understand you're in another league right now, and that's fantastic. Good luck, sir. Right. So, guys, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you the start of the race with commentary, and then I'll just kind of crank up the sound, and then we'll go. I'll bring you as much of the race as possible based off of my usual tactics, but there may be a time where I may need to get up and, well, let's just say I'm going to have to run to the restroom, I'm pretty sure. So, again, I apologize. I can't really do much about it. I thought it would be all right, but it's not looking too good. So, like I said, I'm just going to bring you as much of the race as I can, and we'll have a little bit of as much fun as we can. Somebody's sitting in the pits. Who is that? Sam Carpenter's sitting in his pit. It's not allowing the race to actually get underway. Ah, there we go. That was kind of weird. So as the drivers get out onto the track here, there will be a sighting lap, of course. Starting order, Craig Baxter, Sergi Harass. Again at the front of the field. Scott Davison and Noah Chilla. Noah Chilla slotting into fourth. Not bad, sir. Mac Shepard and Max Lister bringing up the row behind them with Dano Brantham and Evan Rice coming on through. Sam Carpenter and Brandon O'Henlin bringing out the top 10. Sam, not exactly the best Q2 run. Well, he'll have to just make it work here. We've seen him make some serious runs through the field before, and this might be the time to bring out those skills. Brandon O'Henlin trying to improve as well. Nick Brackey and Juka-Pekka Lalu on the 6th row, just outside the top 10, and they'll be looking for a good run as well. Hopefully they can score some points, try to add to their championship total. Liam Mangan, Mads Jensen. Liam, great qualifying effort from him. 13th position. Don't really see that too often from him. Usually he's a little bit farther down the order, but it seems as though he's starting to figure out this car. And he was saying that he actually likes the track, so not too bad. Richard Taylor and Alfie Lawrenson bringing up the 8th row, with Jonathan Watts and Tom Lamberts bringing up the rear of the field. I believe Tom has to start at the back of the field. I don't think he allocated tires. Honestly, this track can make you nervous if you don't have the setup just right. You're gonna have a rough time of things. As speaking of drivers making their way towards the start line, trying to get those rear tires nice and warm. said, I will be bringing you start of the race with commentary. I'll go for as long as I can, and then once things really begin to break down and I realize I just had the name tags on, there we go, I will have to kind of step away from the microphone. Waiting on the lights. And we're underway here at the Circuit of the Americas, round 11. The RF2 Formula 1 Championship here at AOR. Thank you for joining us. Of course, the turn 1 here at COTA, so tough to get through, especially in a heaping group of cars. And pretty predictable start here at the front of the field. It'll be Craig Baxter, Sergio Rest, Scott Davison, Max Lister, and Evan Rice coming through for your top 5. Max Lister for the Zesty Racing machine. Thought there might be a bit of a pass there as they make their way down into the hairpin and down the long back straight. Bit of scrambling in the backfield, but doesn't look like it's too bad to fit. To double check, Alfie Lawrenson has now made his way into 12th place, sitting behind Liam Mengen. You can see everybody kind of scrambling here. It looks like there's a bit of a race there in front of him. I'll actually pass Liam. Not too bad. That's 11th. Now for the 10th. Oh, someone's around. That's Tom Lamberts. Just goes into the grass and he'll drop down the order and get right on the gearbox of Jonathan Watts. Check it in on the front of the field again. It'll be Sergio Rass still behind Craig Baxter here. But really the race really begins to heat up here right for about 5th place. There's a pass happening there. Sam Carpenter on Noah Chilla. Sabre versus Royal Blue. It'll be the Sabre this time. Noah on the the ultra softs, I should say. He's probably trying to save the tire as much as he can, but Sam Carpenter's made his way up to 6th place. As the drivers begin to fan out just a little bit. Close race here for 5th place, it looks like. Sorry for 4th. My apologies. Evan Rice on Max Lister. Rice with the slipstream. He'll dive down to the inside. Hasn't made it stick yet. Still side by side. Oh, a bit of a tire spin. Lister will secure the position for now, but challenging still is Evan Rice. Oh, and Rice goes on the outside, and Sam Carpenter makes his way through. A little bit of a tap there. No damage done as Sam Carpenter finds himself in the top 5. He's still under pressure here. Rice got a great run through that set of corners, but he had to let Carpenter go. And Rice will drop to 6th, and he'll be under pressure again from the Royal Blue of Noah Chilla. Check back in on Alfie Lawrence, and he's made his way into the top 10. Now he's got his work cut out for him, though, as series regular Mac Shepard and Brandon O'Hanlon is just in front of him, but it's still heating up in front of him as Noah Chilla trying to challenge Evan Rice. And again, these guys are on the ultras, so don't want to overheat those tires. Very easy to do here at COTA, especially here in this first sector. Want to see onboard camera? We'll give you onboard camera. Not a bad top speed there for full tanks. You can see the battle brewing in front of Noah Chilla. Lister and Carpenter still going back and forth. Noah Chilla trying to line up a pass here on Evan Rice. Leading right now is Craig Baxter. He's got quite the lead over Sergi Haras. And Sergi, kind of expected Sergi to be a little bit faster through here, but I think he might just be saving the tire a touch. Maybe waiting for Craig to get into the pits. Bolt a lap out. Maybe come out on top. We'll have to see. No, I can't put how many laps. Oh, what the heck? Again, what is this? You know what would help is that right there. Apparently my cool automation didn't work. I apologize, guys. Good God, I'm so good at this. Honestly, though, the battles are in the midfield at this point. It's all Evan Rice, Noah Chilla, Max Lister, Brandon Henlon, Max Shepard, and Alfie Lawrenson kind of duking it out right now. Speaking of Alfie, leading, or kind of bringing up the tail of this dragon here. Yeah, Mantis, I just did, yeah. It was supposed to do that automatically, but weird. I apologize. Oh, big lockups! That was Max Lister. Nearly spinning it out. He just braked way too late, and it kind of checked everyone else up. There was nearly a big, huge pileup going into Sector 3. Alfie has amazing pace on the softs. I have to admit, he does. Look at timing here. He's moving pretty good. He's still a couple of seconds off of the pace compared to the leaders, but honestly, that's not bad. Oh! Lawrenson way off the track. Was pushed way too hard, ended up bouncing off of the sleeping policeman. He actually gets passed by Tom Lamberts there. Tom had a huge problem coming into this next sector, so let's see if Tom will be able to correct. If not, Alfie will strike. Tom able to keep it clean this time. Alfie getting a little bit fancy on the throttle, and we've seen that before from him. Obviously, it's because we're watching him now. No, he's getting nervous. That was Liam Mengen in the background. Alfie sitting just outside the top 10 now as Tom Lambert's making his way through the field, actually. Oh, there was a bit of... Okay, that was a timing glitch. My apologies. Tom Lambert's in the Sergi Esports car, coming down into turn 1, cuts it very early. And cutting to the inside is Max Lister. Lister still duking it out. We're going to go side by side here through Sector 1. Tom does back off. No attack coming out. Alfie. Looks like he thought about attacking, but he decided not to. Let's move over to Nick Brackey and get a better look at this whole battle. Brackey in the Sabre Junior car. As the slipstream here, Alfie doesn't have the speed down the backstretch, and it will be Nick Brackey taking back 10th place here on Alfie Lawrenson. There was a comment earlier about Alfie having amazing pace on the softs, and he does have pretty good pace on the softs, but the one thing about this particular series is that the tires do degrade fairly quick if you are too hard on them. You do have to kind of save the tire a little bit to be really smart about how you attack tracks like this that do use a lot of tire and rely on the grip, mechanical grip of the car. Alfie might have overheated his tires, so he's probably had to back off just a touch and allow those to cool off. Now, this track is a little bit tough to do that. The tires get so hot through here, this particular section, indeed. Especially if you're pushing really hard and trying to keep up or trying to make a pass. You can potentially overheat them, and the grip level just goes away, and it really never comes back. You kind of have to be careful about that, because say in other games, the grip will come back, won't be quite as good, but here, if the tire degrades, gets any heat degradation, it gets factored in. And honestly, this particular series does reward very consistent driving, as we see a pass potentially being made here. Max Lister. Tom Lamberts is still there challenging. Honestly, though, this battle for 8th is fantastic. Let's move up just a little bit as Brandon O'Hanlon and Mac Shepard in the Thrive cars. Thrive Vulcan Racing just going back to back right now, as we have already seen pit stops here. Sergi Harass dropping way down because of the long pit. Whoa, on the inside, he gets clipped. Jonathan Watts. Oh, nearly clips the Royal Blue there. That right there is not what Sergi wanted to see, hear, or happen to him. Luckily, it doesn't look like there's a ton of damage. Might have a bit of steering problems. Let's go on board and have a look. Now, Sergi does like to run quite a bit of force feedback, so if it looks like his wheel is shaking, it's literally because his wheel is shaking. Diving below Liam Mangan, trying to make his way around a... Whoa! That was close. Royal Blue. That was Noah Chilla, actually. That was very close. Sergi has got to be a little bit beside himself, as there's actually a race behind him right now. Noah Chilla, Liam Mangan going at it. And it looks like Liam just kind of dragged the brakes through there. I'm surprised Noah's even on the Ultra Softs at this point. Hasn't dived into the pits. We'll see if he does now. He doesn't. Well, all right then. 8 laps, not bad, but that grip level has to be going down here. And Mangan onto the inside again. And he'll make it stick. Jonathan Watts is behind him. Let's check back up. The battle for 6th now. I think Lawrenson has decided to kind of just hang back. Wait for his opportunity. Got 31 laps to go, and I think that's that's a good idea, in my opinion. Just kind of hang back. Let the other players, the other drivers, duke it out. Sergi Harass now has Alfie Lawrenson in front of him. Sergi doesn't seem to have the top speed. Looks like he's setting his car up for more of a handling setup. He's so fast through these twisty bits. Oh, nearly touching the gearbox. And drivers are peeling off into the pits. Baxter has actually come into the pits. Oops. He's going to fall behind Sam Carpenter, who is now in the lead. And looks like Brandon O'Henlin will also catch him in the Thrive Vulcan. Trying to keep an eye on everything here. Sergi has made his way past Alfie. And Alfie now sitting in 6th place. Just heard from Alfie. He has a little suspension damage, probably from his little run off of that sausage. Yeah, those sausages will get you. We've actually seen that before. Come on, so. I think it was last season. Might have been Silverstone or something along those lines where, you know, a lot of people were running over, you know, outside sleeping policemen. And we actually had to move it because of that. Obviously, we want to penalize drivers for overextending the track limits, but obviously we don't want to cause, you know, extreme havoc. But Alfie, even with suspension damage, sitting in 6th place right now is not bad, but he does need to try to gap as many people as possible so that when he does have to come into the pits here a little bit later on. Oh, touch! Scott Davison. Usually such a clean driver. I don't think he was expecting Alfie Lawrenson to slow down quite that much for the final corner of the track. Just kind of grazes. And by graze, I mean that was actually a solid hit there in the gearbox. But Alfie now falling to 6th place. And everybody has spread out. The big story right now, though, is that Craig Baxter is in 2nd place with Sam Carpenter leading the race. Baxter keeping Carpenter honest as he can. All right, guys, I'm going to just turn off the mic here for now. I'm going to obviously keep running the stream. I want to make sure I get as much content out there for you guys, bring as much of the race as I can. I do apologize. Obviously didn't expect this or anything, but yeah. So stay tuned, everyone. I'll put on some a little bit of background music just to kind of fill the spaces. And I will be in chat, so please feel free. To throw up your comments in the chat. Looks like Craig Baxter will be challenging here for the lead. I might do some experimentation with cameras and things like that, so I'll need your feedback as we go through. Before I do that, Baxter with DRS, the drag race down the front stretch. It'll be Sam Carpenter to the inside. No, Sam's going to let him go. I have to admit, I am kind of surprised by that, but Baxter, I wonder if he felt like he was being held up, but Baxter does have a key interest in keeping the lead here, as a groove is really starting to wear into the track. See the rubber going down nicely. Sergio Harass now sitting in third place. He's made his way up into there, and to kind of give you an update on everything, Baxter is leading the championship. Sergio Harass trying to make sure he doesn't get too far behind. Sergio does need a win to really make things interesting. But we'll have to see as the race wears on, of course. We'll be bringing you as much of the action as possible. Scott Davis and Brandon O'Henlin duking it out here for fourth place. And on that note, I will save the rest of my voice for the end of the race, guys. I'm very sorry. And so with 5 laps to go, Craig Baxter still leading the race. Sergio Rass and Sam Carpenter rounding out the podium. You have Mac Shepard and Tom Lamberts for your top 5. Pretty interesting race so far. I tried to show as much of it as I could between Sergio Rass and Sam Carpenter. But now Sergi seems to have gapped Carpenter quite a bit. Carpenter just couldn't quite keep up. Sergi may have also just kind of cranked up the amplitude in the corners like he can. Might have been trying to save a little bit of fuel. We don't know exactly, but Sergi usually so fast and able to save tires at the same time. He may not have been able to do that so much here at Coda. Tough track to do that at. Yeah, 5 laps to go, and it's actually been a pretty interesting race so far. We have tried to cover as much as we can here. Alfie Lawrenson sitting 11th place. I know that a lot of people are watching his race as the evening wears on. Nice little 4-chain of cars right here. Nick Brackey, Noah Chilla, Mac Shepard, and Brandon O'Hanlon. I'm sorry, Noah Chilla we're watching. Yes, we should be. Yes, we are. He's going inside here. I believe that is Nick Brackey. Yes, it is. Have a look from above. The only thing I don't like about this camera is for some reason it pulls the sound from the car. As they kind of spread out a little bit. Oh, just cutting the corner there was Brackey. Getting all over that little curb there. We might have a challenge here for position. This is for a top 5. As Brackey actually loses 2 positions, he might be having an issue. Let's have a look here. We're on board the Sabre Junior car. He might have a little bit of suspension damage. He's moving pretty slow through Sector 1 here. O'Hanlon and Scott Davison about to tangle here. This will be for 8th place. Could we see the pass here? Under DR. Scott Davison moving into 8th now. Oh, way sideways is O'Hanlon. Recovers well. O'Hanlon has been all over the track. The back end stepping out of him on him quite a bit. Under braking and under acceleration. Setup not quite optimized. He's had to push the car quite a bit, and that is forcing him. Kind of burn those tires up, but Evan Rice could be challenging here very soon. Looks like Noah Chilla and Mac Shepard, the other Thrive Vulcan car. Could be challenging for a top 5. Let's go back to Rice and O'Hanlon. Rice trying to nab a 9th and a couple more points. As we have 3 laps to go, still Craig Baxter in the lead. we had a change of position there. Rice falling to O'Henlin this time, but O'Henlin will be able to keep the line. Ooh, maybe not. Rice challenging well. Take a look from above. I have a feeling Rice is going to concede this position. He's got the tire for it, honestly. And he is on the supers, so you might be able to save the tire for one more lap as we get on to our final lap. Baxter making his way through the S's here. A much needed win in order to secure the championship as we head into the final stages. As always, so smooth. He's short shifting like crazy, though. I think his might be a little bit low on fuel. Whatever it is, it's working for him. Baxter now on the binders. Making his way around through the second sector. Just trying to take it easy. Doesn't want to bottle it up. As Evan Rice, Brandon O'Henlin make their way onto their final lap. Oh, Max Lister getting pretty close to Alfie. Alfie Lawrenson having issues. This is not good for him. But we have to move back to Baxter, who is making his way around the penultimate corner. And now the final corner. Craig Baxter will be your winner here at COTA. The Circuit of the Americas bringing us some excellent racing, and the United States Grand Prix winner is Craig Baxter, with Sergi Harras making his way around the final corner as well, grabbing second place. Sam Carpenter, well fought between him and Sergi for much of this race, and notably Tom Lamberts sitting in fourth, and I think that is where he will finish. Alfie Lawrenson, though, has made his way, or is still in 10th place. He's got Max Lister on his tail, though. Max Lister looking to take home a couple of points here. He does get around him on the outside. It looks like a lockup there from Alfie. Alfie still has the position. Alfie trying to fight off a charging mad Max Lister, the Zesty Oranges machine. Can't quite make it work just yet. Alfie defending very well. Oh, that's not the guy I wanted. I wanted this one. There we are. Somebody changed the name of that team. That is just obscene. Oh, Alfie with a nice cut. They make their way around the final corner. Lister attempting, trying to get the slipstream. Alfie just keeping it straight. The drag race. It'll be Alfie Lawrenson taking 10th place. And in celebration, he will blow his engine or a tire. Well done. Well done, Alfie Lawrenson. I am impressed. That was a great drive. Had a few issues here, but he managed to bring it home. In 10th place, your finishing order will be Craig Baxter, Sergi Harras, Sam Carpenter, rounding out your podium, with Tom Lamberts, Noah Chilla in 4th and 5th place, respectively. Behind them, Nick Brackey, Scott Davison, Evan Rice, Brandon O'Henlin, and Alfie Lawrenson rounding out your top 10. Well done, sir. Max Lister, Mac Shepard, Juka Pekalalu, Liam Mangan will round out the cars that finished the race. And not finishing will be Richard Taylor, Jonathan Watts, Mads Jensen, and Danov Brantham. There were some incidences this race, and that is a little bit unfortunate for a few people there. I know that we did see a couple things happen there between Sergi, but he managed. I believe it was Sergi and Mads. I think it was Mads Jensen, but yes, Sergi able to bring it home in second place. That's the recovery drive there. But honestly, if I had a points graphic, I would show it to you. I apologize. We don't have that, at least not yet. We have 3 more races to go. Craig Baxter will extend the lead this time out. I don't think Sergi is mathematically out of it. But with Sam Carpenter finishing in 3rd place, he will definitely move into 3rd in the championship. Brandon O'Hanlon, who is sitting in 5th, who finished 9th today, I believe he will not be overtaken by anyone. As everybody who finished in front of him, other than the leaders, are in front of him anyways. But O'Hanlon was hoping, I think, to make up some ground on Sam Carpenter, as he was only 4 points behind, but doesn't look like that's going to happen at all here this season. Sam Carpenter has definitely found a whole ton of speed as of late. Beautifully done, everyone. A couple of incidences here and there, and that's kind of the way Coda works. So, again, guys, thank you for sticking around through this actually very fantastic race. I apologize for not being able to commentate all the way through it, but it was either that or you guys were going to hear me cough and hack, and that's just not acceptable. So I tried to sort of bring you as much of the race as I could. Experimented with cameras a little bit, and if you guys want to see a little bit more of that, we can do that. I have to admit, I am kind of impressed by that overhead view. It's pretty cool. So, well done, everyone. And yeah, the Alfie fans are in the chat. Well done, guys. I know one of you was in comms with him, so give him our congratulations here. So from everyone here at Apex Online Racing, congratulations to Craig Baxter, Sergi Rass, and Sam Carpenter for taking the podium. We will catch you next time. Next week, we'll start up the AOR Racing Weekend. And only because I'm being requested to hashtag Alfie Hype.
Wake me up from my dreams, full of sadness and tears, and I know